Okay, Shalom, Shalom, Kwame Sha'Allah. Koholoyim La Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakahakodash. And double honors to our apostles and elders, the great millstone, who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth, and just want to take the water to all the H.I.M and Akwaf. That's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Jachanan Nawak. It's coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. Right? And we got another one, man. Hey, these Edomites are under those curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. And, just again, too, the spirit of vengeance is on the loose. The Lord is, got those spirits of vengeance working full time. And also, prophetic-wise, what Yahushua, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus, said in Matthew chapter 12, verse 20, chapter 24, verse 12, he said that because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. When the disciples asked him what will be happening in the last days or before his coming. So this is, love of many waxing cold right here. 2 siblings and stepmom among 8 found dead in burning home after tragic family disturbance call. A massacre in Montana killed eight members of the same family, including a woman and her 2 stepchildren. And so these they chimping out, man. And you know what? When I seen the original the other article I was looking at, a lot of the times they don't want you to see who these people really are because they don't want Esau seen in a bad light. And when you read the article headline, don't get me wrong, Jake, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans doing a bunch of wicked shit too. But it's just certain stories, man. As soon as you see the headlines, it's just got that spirit of Esau on it. You immediately, so it's like, as soon as you hear school shooting, you think of a so-called white person. Sometimes it'll surprise you, though. You be like, damn, it was a Jake. But when Jake's shooting at each other, they generally are some beef shit, with some other motherfucker they don't like. But, Esau will put together a manifesto, and he will get up and get dressed for school like he done every other day in his life. He'll grab his lunch box, his lunch bag, kiss his mommy, all that shit. He'll do his regular routine with a and he's headed to school with his arsenal, man. Anyway, but this is a gruesome business going on. This is why we say let's start with praying without ceasing, walking circumspectly. These are scriptures that comes out all the time, but they're very powerful. 1 Thessalonians 5:17. And it's 3 simple words: pray without ceasing. You should be praying to Yahweh. That's the true name of the Father, which means he exists, or the existing one. And the name of his Son, Bahashem. That's what that is in the Hebrew, Bahashem. In the name, Yahushai, which is the true name of the Son, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus. And this is for you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because you are biblically the real Israelites. The law, statutes, and commandments were given to you. This is our power that we pray to, And it's high time to awake out of sleep, because we are at the end of this world. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, that's his biblical nationality or his biblical name. He's at his end. And when they come to their end, they act like this. And you're about to see a lot of, we've been seeing it. There's been a lot of upticks of these so-called white people really wigging out. They're not happy. They're not doing well. Things are not going well for them. They're losing their homes. They're living out of their cars, and they just don't do well when they fall off, man. And the Lord is doing that. That Deuteronomy 30:7, they're starting to fall under those curses. Ephesians 5:15, it says, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. This is a commandment. You can't be walking foolishly out here. You have to walk circumspectly. Be looking around, pay attention, but spiritually, being in the spirit, praying without ceasing, using the gifts of the spirit, moving in the spirit, and most definitely, like I said again, the number one tool or weapon that we have is the names of the Lord, Yahweh and Yahushai. Secondarily to that, to me, is the prayer, the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You want to pray his words. You want to pray to him and remind him of what he said. Not that he don't know what he said, but a reminder like, Lord, you said this. You bring that reminder to the Lord. Scriptures even talks about that. You know, he's about his word. He honors his word. You trying to do your best, he's going to look out for those that trust in him. And we need that spiritual, we need his guidance throughout the day. We need his protections, man. Because you're living in some very wicked ass times, man. These people are fucking crazy. You got people, you know, man, motherfuckers in Walmart stabbing and shooting people and killing people. You know, you out shopping and the motherfucker just go ape shit crazy. You know? Well, let's get some of the article. We'll end out soon. I didn't want to keep this long. You can just see, hey, be careful, man, and prayer, man. So this family members reeling from a devastating massacre that killed 8 people in Montana have been identified. 3 of the victims as a pair of siblings and their stepmother. Charlotte, 12, yeah, these are Edomite names. Landon, 15, and their stepmother were among the victims of a shooting spree at the Billings home over the weekend, according to a separate GoFundMe. And they always talk about Jake with the GoFundMes and shit. But you so-called white people get GoFundMes too. Authorities responding to a report of a family disturbance at the house on Sunday, August 23rd, found multiple casualties. A man was taken to the hospital. According to investigators' account cited by the news, the man was identified as the suspect and died from self-inflicted gunshot wounds. So he tried to take himself on out of there. According to the GoFundMe set up for the children's father, Adam Kakir, his wife was among those killed. Neither the wife nor the children are named in that fundraiser, but the page linked out to a separate GoFundMe set up for the children's mother, where the kids are named. All that good stuff. Here you go, right here. Active shooting. According to the timeline provided by the police, an officer responded to a report of an active shooting a little before 6 p.m. on Sunday when they heard more gunshots fired from the back of the house. Within minutes, smoke was seen coming out of the house, which was eventually fully engulfed. You know, Esau, yeah, he set the damn house on fire. He probably killed his damn dog and everything. And the fundraiser set up by the children's mother and stepfather, family members said Landon was a loving, caring young man who was always willing to lend a hand, all that good stuff. You know how that goes. He was set to start sophomore year in high school and was excited to get his driver's license, all that good stuff. Yep. He was a protective and patient brother to Charlotte, all that good stuff. We don't need all that. Let's see. It wasn't immediately clear how or if the suspect knew the victims. No, he had to have known the asses. I don't see them, you know. But anyway, you probably see more news come out on that. Well, let me get that one scripture from Yahushua. Because the disciples are like, what's going to be happening before you're coming? These people are weird, man, right now. Matthew 24. Let me get verse 3. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and when shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And that word world is going off into right here. If you notice right here in the NLT, it says the end of an age. Because that's what it's talking about. It's talking about the end of a time period, which is we're living in Esau's world. That's biblically the so-called white man's ethnicity. Because he's running the earth. This is his time the Lord gave him a set time to rule, just like everybody else. All the other nations had a go at it. But this is the last kingdom to rule before the coming of the Lord. And it's Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Right? So one of the things that Yahushua spoke of, let me just continue reading. Verse 4, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. And mainly, big time, is white Jesus. That's an idol. You know, that image has deceived a lot of people. A lot of people really believe that there's this blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guy that's coming to save the planet. That's not true, and it's not biblical, and the Lord's name is not Jesus. His name is Yahushua. So that's happening big time on the planet. And just in general, it's a lot of false prophets, a lot of false teachers, a lot of just people that's just got their hands on the damn Bible and they shouldn't have. You know, they're just wicked as hell and they're using the Bible. You got to just watch people and pray. Verse 6, and ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. This is happening daily right here. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. It's been earthquakes all week long. Big ass earthquakes too. The past month, it's been multiple big ass earthquakes where thousands of people have died. So all this stuff is happening. And then kingdom against kingdom, you got a lot of you about to see a lot of shit go on, man, in these Americas soon, because again, these so-called white people, they ready to let go. They are ready to release. They ready to go, man. They ready to release, man, some damn pressure. And they gonna release a lot of that pressure on a lot of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because you're their go-to when they're pissed off. Okay, well, let's jump to verse 12, the point that I wanted to get. It says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. See? In the NLT, it says, sin will be rampant everywhere, and the love of many will grow cold. Yeah, man, so that's what's happening in the earth, because the Lord is getting ready to come. That's a part of prophecy right there. Those are prophecies. This is prophecy playing out. Now, when you go into second address, because this is the end of Esau's world, they try and tell you that Esau is done away with, and he was absorbed into all these other nations and all that other bullshit. No, Esau is running the world right now. Second Esdras chapter 6 verse 9, it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And we know that we're in the end of the world because of the way that the prophecies are playing out, the things that the Lord spoke of. The attitude of the people. Matter of fact, let's go to let's get this real quick, because this can go with that as well. 2 Timothy chapter 3. That fierceness, one of the things that's being spoken of. Let me see where where's it? Chapter 3 verse 1. 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 1, it says, this know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. Now it's going to give a description of the way people will be acting in the last days. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, and that's happening. Covetous, that's people that want everybody else's shit. Boasters, braggadocious ass people. Proud, you got a bunch of pride, and these Americans are prideful as hell. Blasphemers, you already know they'll blaspheme the Lord and anything godly. Disobedient to parents, you can see the kids are fucked up out here. It says unthankful. Nobody is thankful these days. You can hold a door open for them. You can do something for them. You can purchase something for them. They don't give a fuck. They just looking at you crazy as hell as they taking it from you. Unholy. These people are very unholy. You're living in the most unholy generation ever. Verse 3. Without natural affection. This guy didn't have no natural affection for those children. Truce breakers. False accusers. Incontinent. And that word incontinent goes into no self-control. Fierce. You got to be fierce as hell, man, to pull something like that off. Despisers of those that are good. Traitors. Heady. High-minded. Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. So yeah, man, hey, we have a commandment to basically, get the fuck away from these people, to the best of our ability, because we are in captivity. We do have to go to work. We have to deal with people. But, the scriptures talks about getting up B time. Let me see if I can get that real quick in the Apocrypha. Just handle your business, man. I ain't no fuck hanging out with these people. You invite me nowhere, I don't fuck that, Yeah, we're having a little get together. We're doing this. We're doing, nah, motherfucker, I'm good. You get together. Y'all drink, motherfuckers smoking blunts, blowing down. Nah, I'm good. I don't want to be around none of you niggas, man, like that. You, or nobody else. You good, Scripture talks about, we just read it, stay away from them, basically. But, what is that? Ecclesiasticus, I think is, what is that, boy? 32 and 11. Yep, it says, rise up B time and be not the last, but get thee home without delay. Yeah, man, get on up, handle your business. You got to go to work. You go to work. You got to deal with the people. You be cordial. You do your thing, get your money, and you come home. Go to the supermarket. Go ahead and hit the bank. Go ahead and stop at the gas station, But be circumspect. Look around you while you're there. Pay attention to the people around you, looking in your rearview mirrors and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? But overall, again, pray. Can't stress that enough. Pray to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh, because he's the one that's in control, So this right here is not surprising. It's a lot of stories like this that's going on, these days. You're starting to see an uptick in this kind of stuff, man. Let me see if they had says insane people who are Satan's workers, murdering innocent people and children. Well, the Lord created spirits of vengeance. Let's get that real quick. Also in the same book, a couple of chapters over. Ecclesiastes chapter 39, verse 28. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance. And the Lord got these spirits ready to roll, man. Which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. See, fire. He said set the damn house on fire. I'm pretty certain he killed the damn dog. Dog ain't had nothing to do with nothing. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandments. See, these spirits, this is scary, bro. This is something, it says it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Hebrews 10 and 31. You should be having some fear of the Lord if he has spirits that, it says they rejoice in getting a commandment from him. They rejoice in getting, a task of going to take somebody out of the world, whether it's a kid, child, pregnant woman, whatever. That right there in itself ought to, it sit you down to get a healthy fear of the Lord, man. It says, they shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. These spirits are not like, Lord, were those are children? He just started his sophomore year. He's, he playing sports. She's, she's just wants to, play with her baby dolls. Nah, man. The Lord set your ass up to die, man. Says the soul of America is sick with hate. Well, yeah, because hey, America was it was established on hate. It was established on murder. It was established on blood, and it's gonna go out that way. It's gonna go out with them thermonuclear missiles coming this way, because this place has to be cleansed, and a cleansing agent is fire. This place is really very wicked, man. Somebody says there's no talking among family members to work out issues anymore. Some nut job just grabs a gun and kills the whole family. Well, that's some spirits of vengeance. Somebody says sick world. Yeah. Somebody says there are too many crazy people everywhere. Yeah, man. Hey, look, this is the world we living in, man. This is Esau's world. And this is the world that you people, you want to continue. You pray for America to continue. You pray, God bless America. No, if you was a real Christian, you should be praying for the Lord to destroy this place and have mercy on you if you really are true to what you're saying. So I'm going to end out there, man. I pray that the lesson was edifying. Somebody got this, it says, don't ever live in Montana. Ever, yeah. Boy, I tell you. Anyway, with that, Shalom.